teach you a very valuable lesson. You can listen and learn, or you could not listen and lose all of your investment money into a product online. Now, if you're talking about 10,000 pesos, which is basically a small amount of money, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it would be a lesson. But this lesson, I spent no less than 4 hours on the phone with a company that I called from 7 a.m. yesterday morning to 11:45 to buy a particular machine. Now, everybody knows I wanted the 2-in-1 rebar bender cutter made by Belton. Well, that machine is just, to buy it from that company, not possible. They've canceled a paid order 3 times, so I'm not going back there. So what I did is I looked on Lazada and Shopee for a comparable machine. There are smaller machines available, but they won't bend the rebar that I need to bend. Or they don't have a 100% duty cycle. I actually want a machine that has a 100% duty cycle, which means you can use the machine all day continuously for 8 hours. So I won't ever do that, but if you buy a machine with a 40% duty cycle and you use it for 30 minutes, the machine is going to overheat. You're going to have to shut it down. If you have a 100% duty cycle, then you can use it for the full hour. Probably never use it for more than an hour at a time anyway, but that's not the point. I want a 100% duty cycle machine, and only a few machines accommodate 100% duty cycles. So we went from a 32 millimeter rebar bender. Now, this company that I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to mention their name, they tried to scam me. Absolute 100% scandalized me for 195,000 pesos. But they weren't done at that point. They tried to do 3 things that are totally not acceptable to do as far as shipping and billing are concerned, and I'll go over those things. But more than that, they contacted me outside of Lazada. Here is the most valuable thing you're ever going to get from any of my videos. Anytime, every time, if ever a company contacts you outside of the Lazada chat window, don't do business with them. There is no way you want to do business with a company that contacts you outside the Lazada chat window. And I'll tell you why, but first let me tell you what they did and how they contacted me outside of the Lazada chat window, because the actual machine I wanted to buy above the 32 millimeter rebar bender that I originally wanted was a different brand 32 millimeter rebar bender made by Garnicia. Garnicia is a company that makes or sells rebar benders. So I went on the website, Lazada. I saw the rebar bender. I looked at it. Was a semi-automatic, non-digital, full-duty cycle rebar bender with a 220 volt single-phase motor. So I pushed buy, B-U-Y. And I went through the prompts, and it said, this item is out of stock. Even though it showed you that there was one item in stock when you buy it, it says this item is out of stock. So it probably didn't happen that minute, probably happened hours or days before. No way to know. So the next thing that I did was, being that I knew the name of the company, is I Googled the name of the company, and it's an actual company in Manila. But before that, I had put my information in, because it straight up and down tells you when you're buying the machine that you have to put your information. Before you buy this machine, contact us at such and such in the chat, and we will help you with whatever. They never helped me with anything. They only were going to steal my money. But so once I put that information in the chat window and I tried to buy the machine, I could not, because there was no machine available. So what I did was I contacted the company, Garnecia, and I got an associate that sells machines through Garnecia named, it was a Chinese name. I have it on my screen here. I'm going to have to go back here. This company here. Let me make sure I'm not showing you anything I shouldn't be showing you. No. Okay. So this company here, Masayoshi Marika Sales Officer. Okay. And this is the machine. This is the machine they wanted to sell me in place. In the place of the 32 millimeter rebar bender. This is the offer that they had. They had this machine, which bends up to 52 millimeter or 2-inch rebar. I don't need anything that big, but the machine itself weighs exactly 3 times what the 32 millimeter rebar bender weighs. But they said that was the only machine they had in stock, but they could cut me a deal with the machine. The machine I wanted listed for 115,000 pesos. Then they added 15,000 pesos to the price for whatever reason yesterday. Then it's out of stock. So this machine is 168,000 pesos. So I said to the woman, send me a bill. Send me a work order for the machine. Sir, it's 168,000 pesos. If you buy it now, we can work with you. I said, what do I need to do to buy it now? She gave me her banking information. You transfer the money into this bank account, and we'll have this machine out today. So I said, fine. How much is the machine? Sir, it's 168,000 pesos. But she never told me how much the shipping was. So I said, how much is the shipping? Sir, it's a good price. Right then and there, you have a woman that doesn't know the specifications of the machine telling you it's a good price for shipping. Doesn't know how much the machine weighs. Has no understanding of shipping. 600 kilogram, 1,200 pound machine. It's a good price. So I said, well, you send me the price. Sir, we will call you after lunch. This is 11:45. 1:15 comes around from 11:45 when I talk to her. 1:15 comes and goes. And at 1:20 she calls me back. I said, do you have the prices I asked you for? Yes, sir. So she has a bill. I don't know if I have it. I'll tell you what the bill was. But I think I have it in an email. I have about 7, 8, 9 emails from this woman. Let's go back. Let's go back up, back here. I have three. I have three. Yeah, here it is, right here. I have 3 PDF files. Okay, here. So we went from 168, yeah, 168,000 pesos. I'm telling you, I'm going to say this regular. Never, ever, ever, ever talk to anybody outside of Lazada or Shopee. Never do it. Don't talk to them. Don't converse with them. Don't talk about prices with them. It's a total sham. Okay, so here's the price list that she sent me. So it was 168. Remember that price. This gets better than what I'm about to show you. It was 168. And shipping. Now I get this mail here from her company. Mayoshi, whatever the name of that company was, Mayoshi, and the price is 155,000 pesos, because she said she was going to work with me if I buy the machine right now, and I told her I'd buy it right now. However, what she did was she added 18,000 pesos to the bill. So then the machine goes from 168 to 173,600 pesos. But if you'll notice, there's no shipping cost. And here is the weight of the machine right here. The weight, if you'll notice, is 595 kilograms. 600 kilos, 1,200 pounds. But it gets better. So I call her back. No, she calls me back. She said she'd call me every half hour after she updated me on prices. She calls me back, and I said to her, ma'am, her name was Sophia. Sophia, I don't see a price for the delivery. Sir, it's a good price. I said, Sophia, I need to know what the price is. She goes, it'll be about 10,000 pesos. I said, wait a minute. A machine that weighs 200 kilos is 10,000 pesos. This weighs 600 kilos. That means it's 30,000 pesos. No, sir. It won't be that much. I said, okay, Sophia, get me a price. Well, the bottom line is the price was 30,000 pesos for shipping. So I was right about that, but it gets better. So now, instead of buying a machine that weighs 200 kilos, I have a machine that weighs 600 kilos, which I really don't want. That's not, I would have bought this machine. Believe me, I would have bought it. But you see this motor here? The Yankee Echo Juliet 100 Lima 2-4 brake motor? Google that motor, and you'll see that motor is a 3-phase, 380-volt motor. I can't use that here because I don't have 3-phase, 380 volts. So she talks to somebody at her company, and you can hear them in the background talking in English. You tell Mr. Fazio that the machine can be changed from 3-phase, 380 volts to single-phase, 220 volts. It's not a problem. No, it's not a problem if You get the right size capacitor and a switching mechanism out that you have to attach to the motor separate from the motor package. So you have to rewire it, add a switch box, and add a capacitor that fits that motor, this motor. You can't, you have to find a capacitor that's compatible with this motor. That's a whole nother 5,000 plus pesos in parts. So I don't want that. And I says, well, you can't do that. Yes, you can. You can change it. I says, you can change it if you hire, if I have somebody that knows how to do electronics and they have the right, basically you're putting a potentiometer in there and a capacitor and a switch box. About 5,000 pesos, about $100 in parts. I don't want to do that. So she says, sir, we took off 13,000 pesos from the price. I said, yeah, but I don't want to hire an electrician to change the electrical current in the machine. How much is the shipping? You never got back to me for the shipping. Well, the shipping is 30,000 pesos, sir. So now take 173 and add 30. That's 203,000 pesos, right? Wrong. Where does the shipping go to? Sir, it goes to the city of Tagbilaran. I says, and then what? She goes, then you have to pick it up. I said, that's another 10 or 15,000 pesos. No, sir, it won't be that much. We'll give you the telephone number to AP Shipping, Alpha Papa Shipping. You call them up and get a price. So for 2 hours, I pushed redial. They never answered the phone. But I did get in touch with Ninja. Ninja said it would be about 12,000 pesos. So that's $240. Plus 173 plus 30, 203. 6 plus 12, 205, 215,600 pesos. But that would be if I lied to AP Shipping and I said the value of the product was only 55,000 pesos. I said, but it's coming with a bill of lading. Yes, sir, we will change the bill to 55,000 pesos. Because if it was 155,000 pesos, I would have to pay closer to 20,000 pesos or $200. Excuse me. $400 for shipping. It goes by the value of the product, not the weight. At some point, it's the weight, and then it's the weight plus the value. So I would have paid about 230,000 pesos for this machine from this company. But they were going to change the price of the bill. I said, well, what happens if there's a problem with the machine? Sir, you just send it back. So that would be 20,000 pesos to get it back to the shipping company, and then 30,000 pesos to send it back to Manila. That would be 50,000 pesos in wasted money. So I didn't buy it. And that was all because I wanted to play this out. To see where they were going with this. Now I said, no deal. Now I can buy that machine right now on Lazada. I can push, well, now I can't, but I can push the button on Lazada and buy that machine and have it delivered to my house for 196,000 pesos, which is 25 or 30,000 pesos less than they were going to charge me. And that's what you get if you talk outside of the Lazada chat window to any company. This is the second time I went outside Lazada because Lazada didn't have the product that I wanted. And the second time, I would have been completely no insurance on the money, no money back guarantee, None of the promises would have to be kept. I could send the money, I could never get the machine, and that would be the end of it. Until you read about it in the paper. But that would be the end of it, basically. If I sent them the money, no guarantee. It's their bank. And now Lazada has rules. Lazada says never contact anybody outside of their website, which they sent me this morning, the rules. Never transfer money from your bank to another bank. Only work through Lazada. This way you're guaranteed to get your money back. So basically, I didn't buy the machine. So now there's another machine, right? Another machine that'll bend up to 45 millimeter rebar, 1.7 inches. That's big enough, right? So that was the next machine down. This one bent up to 52 millimeter. I go back on Lazada. I go back to the rebar bender, Garnecia, and they have one that bends up to 45 millimeter. I'll show you that one. Now, no problem. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one, baby. So here it is. This is the one right here. 168,000 pesos. Bends up to 45 millimeter. See that right there? Bends 220 volts. That's what I want. Bends up to 45 millimeter. I go to push buy now. Oh, but sir, Lazada, well, I had another problem this morning. Chrome kept kicking me off of their server altogether. Yahoo Mail, sign back in. Skype, sign back in. Patreon, sign back in. Alpha Mail, sign back in. Hoodwink, sign back in. And one other, sign back in. But it did that every hour and a half for the last 3 days. I had to sign back in probably 8 or 10 times since yesterday morning. So Andrew Steinmetz, who you know is Blue Rose, him and I got on the computer at about 8 o'clock this morning. And he installed a new browser on my computer. Because every hour and a half, without me touching the mouse, without me touching the computer, Chrome logged me out of those five sites: Alpha Mail, Hoodwinked, Skype, Gmail, and Yahoo, and 2 others. Every hour and a half. How do you do business like this? This is crazy. So Andrew installed the new browser. I get onto Lazada. It's not kicking me off. I go to buy the machine at 9:30. I can't sign on to Lazada because I don't know why. So now I have to call Lazada, and you have to wait 3.5 minutes to go through. It's the very last prompt. The messages are 3.5 minutes, and in that process, you have to put in English, your phone number, and about 5 different pieces of information. And then the very last prompt: do you wish to talk to an operator? Because if you don't have an order number, you have to wait till the last prompt. So I wait till the last prompt, and I get a very nice guy on from Lazada, and I asked him about this machine. Is it available? Yes, sir. Is it 220? Yes, sir. What is the shipping? He told me about that. Okay, I want to buy it. Yes, sir. But first you have to sign in. So I told him I can't sign in. So he looked me up by my name, by my date of birth, and my email address and my phone number. Yes, sir. We see that you have been blocked. I said, why did you block me? We don't know, sir. But I didn't do anything to get blocked. Yes, sir. Sometimes that happens. So how do I get unblocked? Sir, within 24 hours, we'll send you a temporary PIN. You can start a new account or, use your old information. Again, my account, my PIN, my password and my account and my email has not changed in a year from Lazada. But now I have to put it all back in, whatever it is, put it back in. In other words, start a new account, use the same information. And now I'm waiting 2.5 hours or 2 hours for that PIN number. So I can't buy the machine. So maybe by tomorrow when I can buy the machine, maybe it won't be available anymore. So I spent 8 hours on the phone with my Xiaoshi or whatever, my Xioshi. Don't ever talk to anybody outside of the chat window on Lazada. Don't let them call you up. Don't talk to them outside the chat window. It's a total scamdella. There's no reality to it. So we're going to give you a discount. Give me a 13 peso discount, 1,000 peso discount, and then they charged me 19,000 pesos for a VAT tax. When I complained about the VAT tax, they took the VAT tax off at the end of the deal, and then they charged me 30,000 pesos for shipping. But it didn't ship to my house, which would be another 15,000 pesos. Whereas that machine, I could just push the button and have it delivered to my house for 196,000 pesos. That way it would have cost me 225 plus. Now the new machine, they have it in stock, and it takes me all of 12 seconds to buy it when they allow me to sign back in. And you people out there that think this is easy to do business here in the Philippines, you say, I can't order a rebar bender. I wish I could get a summary of the phone calls I have made to buy this rebar bender. Because 99% of all my phone calls are to buy a rebar bender for the last 5 weeks. I would bet my life, and I'll bet $10,000 I've made more than 1,000 phone calls and emails total, and chats, more than 1,000. And I still don't have a machine. And I've paid for the machine 3 times from that company that canceled the order 3 times. And then I went to buy it today, and I can't sign in. And then I talked with these people all day yesterday because it was a much bigger machine, but I took the motor number, put it into Google, the Yankee Echo Juliet 100 Lima 2-4 motor. It's a 3-phase 380 volt motor. Can you change it? Yeah. Go to YouTube and look how to convert 3-phase 380 volts to single phase 220 volts. Every video is the same. You need what's called a conversion box, a capacitor, and an on-off switch. Because sometimes the capacitor that's made for that motor will start the motor, excite the motor, and sometimes the capacitor that's made for that motor will not start it, so you have to add another capacitor to the circuit. Once the motor starts, then you have to shut the second capacitor off or you'll burn up the motor. Who would do that? Somebody that had that motor that they bought in a machine and didn't want to spend $700 for a new motor. Of course, someone like that. But I want to buy a machine that I push the button. Every time I start the machine, I have to put the switch on, shut the switch off. This girl was all ready. She was, sir, we'll have that machine out for you. It'll be out tomorrow. Just transfer that money today. Don't ever do business outside of Lazada. Don't ever do it. All right? Now, I have food. So here's the machine I'm going to buy. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one, baby. This is the one. That unless between now and tomorrow there is no machine. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Unless between now and tomorrow there is no machine. I can't get the picture up on the screen. Well, I'll show you another picture. That's same company, Power Arc, but same machine, except one. They both have the Yankee Echo Juliet 100 Lima 2-4 motor. They both have the motor, but one is set up from the factory, pre-wired with the capacitor and the potentiometer, and then it's all automatic. So basically, I'm buying the same machine with the same motor, except that the machine I'm buying with the Yankee Echo Juliet motor is what's going on here. I'll show you the machine. Freaking goats are climbing all over my fence. That's the machine, baby. That's the one that's coming. Give me a moment. I keep telling this woman, keep those goats. They don't listen. They just don't listen. The goats like to climb. They climb on anything. If there's a log, they stand on top of the log. If there's a fence, they try to stand on top of the fence. It's not the goat's fault, but she left the goats there by themselves. Why? Because she's a goat herder, that's why. And they don't listen. That's why, too. It's not just why, that is why. Rest assured, when I tell you that goat herders don't listen to instructions, they say, yes, sir. And then they do exactly what they want. Because they're goat herders. Now, I don't care that the goats climb on the fence, but I did ask her not to put the goats there. Put the goats, tie up the goats, so they can get almost up to the fence on the ropes that you have on the goats. They're all roped. They're roped up goats. They're roped goats. The goats are roped. Put the goats on the rope and then tie the rope so the goats can't walk on the fence. Okay. And the very next time you see the goats, they're tied up to the fence. It's as if you didn't even say anything. And then if you say, look, put the goats over there, yes, okay. And then the next thing out of her mouth will be, do you have candy? No. So basically, if I want her to park the goats 10 feet from the fence, she wants candy. She has to be bribed. That's the truth. So now I don't give her candy because I stopped doing that. So the goats get tied up to the fence. Even though they say, yes, sir. The goats are still tied up to the fence because goat herders don't understand don't tie them to the fence. They hear the word fence and they hear the word don't tie them, and they take the word tie and fence and they put that together in their small little goat herding brains, and they tie the goats to the fence. If you think I'm kidding, wait till you move to the Philippines and you have goat herders tying up the goats to your fence. Oh, it's just an amazing thing talking to goat herders. Now there's another goat herder. That's the goat herder that was talking to the delivery boy from shopping. Now he has a little bit of a he's not even as smart as the female goat herder. He doesn't even understand don't tie the goats to the fence. It's an amazing thing. Now I don't really care so much, but I do care about this one point, and I'll tell you what the point is. The people of the Philippines will intentionally not do what you ask them to do. Now we've gone through this. I could walk this camera next door and I could show you broken bottles, broken TV picture tubes, 2 broken TV picture tubes, a dozen broken bottles, all in a pile, and broken glass around that area, which is the path that leads into the little pirogue or sitting area for the locals. And I asked them 3 years ago to clean up the glass. They just refused to do that. So now when they ask me for a job, well, first of all, they can't because I won't hire anybody that drinks. But at some point about a year ago, one of them asked me for a job. And I said, whoa, I asked you, the glass is just broken on the ground as you walk into that pirogue from that side. And the children play there. You're talking about, children, as soon as they're able to walk, to, 10 or 15-year-old people, to adults walk over that glass or around it or sidestep it. I said, well, I asked you to clean up the glass a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They got upset. They got upset that I asked them to clean up the broken glass so their children wouldn't step on the glass. They got upset. You don't tell us what to do. I said, your children are going to step on the glass. And one of them started screaming. I said, leave the glass there. I don't care. I don't walk over there. I have nothing to do with over there. Now, especially now, I don't even give them free stuff for the holidays. So now I don't have to go over there at all. I walk by, I say hello, they say hello. But they got upset that I asked them to pick the broken glass up off the ground, the broken pitcher tube with shards sticking up from the broken pitcher tube 2 or 3 inches high, where if you stepped on that, even with a flip-flop on, it'll go right through your foot and cripple you for life. And they got upset that I mentioned you should clean up the glass. So it's not just me. I'm not the one that's going to step on the damn glass. They're children that are playing in the pirogue at that time are the people that are going to step on the glass. And even though it's a perfectly logical thing to ask. Oh, yeah. It's perfectly logical to think that you would pick up put the broken glass in a plastic bucket. Take the bucket to some deserted place and bury it. Nobody will do that. So whenever I mention the broken glass, oh, they get upset about that. In other words, it's their right to leave broken glass on the ground where the children play. This is the mindset of the Filipino people. And what Flying Circus just said is true. Being that once I used to give them pasalubong or free stuff, they still expect it. Still to this day. I have an interesting story about pasalubong. This week was Halloween, right? Well, I don't know. I think I mentioned that I had to go to the dentist, and I did. And when I walked into the dentist's office Saturday, the day before Halloween, the whole place decorated with witches and Halloween pumpkins, little plastic pumpkins. It had everything except candy, which I thought was odd, but it is a dentist's office, right? So I don't want candy. I don't eat it. Of these 200 things I bought them for the children. I gave them a couple to each child, 2 or 3, a little more, some of them. But of these, I ate one to see what they tasted like. I don't think I'd eat another one of those for the rest of my life. It's just junk. It's some kind of fake jelly. I have no idea what it is. I don't think I'd ever eat another one of those. Anyway, I don't see any candy, and I get my teeth fixed. And I go outside. I talked to the dentist. He's pretty cool. He wasn't until today, anyway. You know, I mean, he's a nice guy, but I was supposed to have an appointment today at 1:30. They called me up at 11. I mean, at 10 o'clock, cancel my appointment. It's raining anyway, so I didn't have anything to do today, but that's not the point. The point is that he should have kept his appointment. What if I would have left already for the city, which I was getting ready to leave at 10 o'clock? Anyway, I go outside the office. I paid my bill because they won't. He still has more work to do, but he wants to get paid for all the work in advance. I says, well, I still have one more appointment before this part of the job. Yes, sir, but you can pay in full now today, please. Which I had the money in my pocket, so I paid him in full. They all do the same thing. They all have to have their money up front in advance. Anyway, he's a good dentist. His prices are reasonable, but that cost him me making videos for his office. Ain't gonna happen. You don't trust me? You didn't do the work? You're asking me for the money up front. You didn't do the work yet. And you're worried that I'm not going to come back when you didn't even do the work and you want to get paid for it? Yes, they're worried you're not going to come back. They're worried that you won't back to finish the work. So if you pay in advance, they know you're coming back or they got paid for the job. And that's not just this dentist. There was another dentist that did the same thing to me 2 years ago. They want, if the job is going to cost $400 and the first half of the job is $200, they want that $200 the first day that you go there to have the job done. And even though you have to come back 3 more times to get that part of the job done, they want paid in full on day 1. Who does that? Usually it's pay as you go, but not here in the Philippines. So I'm walking out of the office Saturday, and I'm outside the office. I'm looking in the window because I saw the girl waving goodbye. And I looked in the window, and when you look in the window, there's a bowl of candy about this big and about that high, filled with candy. But you can only see the candy from outside the office, because on the inside of the office there's flowers in between the candy and where the people sit. Now there was a table in the office that they could have put the candy on, but they didn't. So what does that say to you? I'll give you guys a minute if you want to have a theory of what does that say to you. You can't see the candy from inside the office. You can only see it from outside the office, even though there's a table in the office that they could put the candy on, and when someone goes in the office, they could grab a handful of candy. It's not like everybody that goes in that office is spending 1,000 to 10,000 pesos that day. Everybody. And how much candy is in that bowl? Total, 1,500 pesos maybe of candy. Not much. Putting on a show. Worse than that, Flying Circus. So now I walk away. But I can't let this go. I get halfway to where I'm going, and I'm thinking, that girl, the secretary, she put the candy where nobody could see it. Now you got to remember, it's about 1 o'clock at this point, and the office closes at 5. She put the candy where nobody could see it, which means at 5 o'clock she takes it home with her. That's what that meant, because when I went back Monday, I had to go back to the city on Monday, yesterday. There was no candy there. So I walked away, and I said, wait a minute. I came back to the dentist office, and I said to her, you put that candy there so no one would see it, so you could take it home at 5 o'clock. And she just smiled like that. That's what she did. She put the candy where no one could see it. No one knew it was in the office, so she could take it home at 5 o'clock. That's just the way it is here in the Philippines. It's me, me, me. Now, are they poor? Yeah. But the candy was for the customers that are paying her salary. There probably would have still been plenty of candy left at the end of the day. That's not the point. The point is she hid the candy so nobody would see it, so she could take it home at the end of the day. This is what you deal with here. You deal with people that have no moral turpitude at all. Anything that satiates their needs or desires comes first. You come last. The woman that asked me to send her 196,000 pesos, and then I worry about the shipping later, I would have never got that machine. She doesn't care. What am I going to do? Legally, what am I going to do? Go to Manila and start a case against the company? Probably not. So for a small amount of money of candy, which is a big amount of money to her, of course, is probably a couple of days' pay, she was willing to take the candy away from children and adults that go in and out of the office all day. This place is a trip. This place is a trip. Living here is a trip. Every day. Every day. I told you what happened last week with the tricycle. I gave the guy 200. They say I'm rich, so he's okay. He can afford to be ripped off. That's exactly right. They say, you are rich. You are rich. You can afford this. We are poor, and it's our culture for you to give. And by the way, I won't tell you that part of the story. Either way, they really believe. I had another girl last week that I was talking to that I was going to take to the buffet. She was interviewing me to see how much money I gave Daisy after we broke up. And I told her how much, about 35,000 pesos within the next 6 months after we broke up. Why? Why did you give that to her? Did you still love her? I said, well, no, she never did anything bad to me. I wasn't mad at her. We just don't like each other anymore. But for those 6 months, for the super chat and the money I made on AdSense, my deal with Daisy was, until New Year's, I will give her a percentage of the money I earn on YouTube, because her videos were pretty much active at that time, and I had no problem giving her a percentage, which was about 35% of my intake. And that lasted until the middle of January. She was already engaged to Eugene, and I was still sending her a third of the profit, which I didn't care. Daisy never did anything bad to me. Not that you could say I'm mad at her. We didn't get along. You know, everybody doesn't believe that, but for whatever reason, I don't get involved with my personal thoughts on why we didn't get along. That's none of anybody's business. We just decided that we don't want to be with each other anymore. Of course, nobody believes that, and who cares what you believe? The truth is, that's the truth. So the girl says to me, do you still give her money? And I said, why would I give her money? Well, she was your girlfriend. I said, well, she's engaged to be married to another man. Yes, sir, but you give. Kind of begging and like kind of a sympathy. You give. She's Filipina. You give. She's engaged to be married to another man. Yes, sir, but it's our culture for you to give. You give. She needs the money. I walked away from that girl. That was the girl I was going to take to the buffet. She'll be lucky. She'll be lucky if I even acknowledge that she's alive the next time I see her. And where I was, when she said, you give, I stood up, closed my bag, and walked out. Where are you going? I thought we were going to talk because she had a YouTube channel. She wanted me to help build up her YouTube channel. I never answered her, and I just walked out. What is there to say? This is a one-way street here in the Philippines. Get used to it. You give, they take. They don't give anything back in return. They don't. It's just the way it is here. Don't make any mistake about it. For all that I gave out on my block, if I ask somebody to do me a favor that's going to take 10 minutes, they'll ask me for 100 pesos. Why? Because I'm rich. I said, what about that I gave you the tricycle driver? I gave you sauce and I gave you spaghetti. That's 270 pesos. Yes. And you still want 25 pesos to take me? You're going to Poblacion. You're going there. Yes. And you still want full price? Yes. I was in the tricycle, I got out of the tricycle, and I flagged another tricycle down. I said, no thanks. I will never give him another peso ever of anything for the rest of my life. Ever. And this is a person that I give was one of the only people that I continued to give on a regular basis. But he wants full price. He's going to Publiation. He stops to ask me if I want to ride. I get in, I say, how much? Because I don't want to pay him. He's going there. Just 2 days before, I gave him 270 pesos in free stuff, plus candy, plus 3 loads of firewood. And now he wants full price. Oh, wait, stop. He stopped. I got out. I says, I flagged another tricycle down. He couldn't believe I did that, but that's how it is here. There's no reciprocity here. It's you give, we take, you're rich. It's your job to give us. And anything, there is no other mindset. There is no other mindset. That's it. So, right now it's raining. I can't go to the dentist because they canceled my appointment because his back hurt. Imagine that, a dentist with a bad back. Like I believe that. I don't believe it for a second. I don't believe it for a second. I believe he said he has a bad back. I believe he uses that as an excuse, but I don't believe it. The guy's about 35 years old. How did he hurt his back? Picking up an 8-ounce drill? An amazing place living here. Just say we're canceling the appointment. Don't tell me you got a bad back. I went to work with a dislocated knee after an ACL replacement surgery. 72 hours later, I was on crutches in a 5-foot deep trench in a basement doing plumbing, 4-inch wastewater plumbing, 3 days after surgery. And this guy, with the tears were coming out of my eyes, and this guy got a bad back. Deal with it. Take a pain pill. Take a couple of ibuprofen. Don't tell me you have a bad back. I don't believe that. So lying, not keeping their word, defrauding, anything goes. Anything that they can get away with goes. Anything. Doesn't matter. There is always an ulterior motive behind what they're going to do to you next. There always is. I can give you a different example. 2 or 3 times a day sometimes this stuff happens. You think that you're coming to the Philippines and you're going to interact with these people here? You're not. As long as you're giving, they're smiling. Stop giving, they don't even know who you are. And the girls are worse. When you meet a girl, they have about 20 questions that they ask you. You're a pensioner? No. You're not a pensioner? No. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, so you're working from your savings? They already know the questions. Yes. Are you going to build a house? Are you going to buy property here? They know you can't buy property. But they want to know if you want to buy property, because then you'll need a girlfriend. They have it to where there's a punch list, depending on your first 2 or 3 answers. Were you ever married? That's an important one. Because if you were married, how many children are you supporting? Because if you're supporting children in America, they may not want to go out with you because you might not have enough money to support their family. There's a punch list. And they all have one. The questions come in a different order, but they do come. Let me check my mail here, my comments. And then I'm going to end the stream. And then that's right, Andrew. They have no idea. They just believe that foreigners, because the foreigners who do have pensions, they believe that they're rich. They forgot that the foreigner had to work for the pension. They forgot that for 25 or 30 years, every day, 5 or 6 days a week, the foreigner had to wake up and go to work. No matter how hard or how not hard they worked, but for 25 years they had to do something. Filipinos are not like that here. You're never going to find a Filipino that does the same thing every day. A guard, yeah, guards have to show up 6 days a week, but they don't make much money, and there's no pension. The people in the supermarkets, those are temporary jobs. They don't have any such social structure here. No such social structure. And they don't care. They only care what you can give them. So they'll ask the questions to find out, do you have children? How old are your children? Oh, they're grown up. So you're not supporting any children? They'll ask you. They'll want to know if there's extra money available for their family. And that's the truth. Raining pretty hard here. Let's go take a look. Oh yeah. Raining hard. Now I got nothing to do at all for the day. So I'm gonna say goodbye. Let me check my mail. Maybe I can buy that machine. You can watch. I'm buying that machine. Nope. So I can't sign in without Lazada sending me a new PIN. I can't buy the machine until I sign in. Dennis Adam, if you're out there, you're mean. You blocked me on your channel this morning. That was me, Dennis. Oh, pizza. You know, Flywoods, you're not going to believe this, and I won't tell you. A girl I talked to about, it's going back into October. No, going back into September, week before my birthday. Actually, it was September 9th. She told me, that's exactly what she said. She said, can you send me some pesos? I wish to buy pizza. Pizza? Pizza here is like, for a 12-inch pizza, which is supposed to be 13, but it's only 12 after they cook it, is like $10.70. So here's a girl I don't even know that's asking me that she can buy pizza when I don't buy pizza because it's too expensive for me to eat. Could I afford pizza? Sure, I could afford pizza. But when you're on a budget, and I'm not on a budget, I budget myself intentionally. When you don't, you have to understand, there's a lot of people out there that they don't have a freaking clue what a budget is. Now it was a different girl. Well, maybe it could be the same girl. You don't know. They get around. When I quit smoking, I could tell you that 60% of why I quit smoking was it was costing me $60+ a month. A pack a day at $2 a pack is $60 a month. So I estimated that's at $60 a month times 12 is $720 a year. Well, that $720 a year can pay my rent and my electric and my internet for 2 months. So just say it costs me $350 a month for internet, electric, and rent. So if I stop smoking, I can pay my rent, my electric, and my internet for 2 months. That's a good thing. Now, if I stop eating shit food, junk food from the street, which I don't eat, like potato chips, cookies, snacks at some ridiculous prices for potato chips. $7 for a 6.5-ounce bag of Lay's potato chips. That's ridiculous. But if I don't eat that kind of crap, then I save maybe $15 a month. Or almost enough to pay my rent for 1 month. So I cut out snacks. If I want a snack, I make popcorn. I haven't made popcorn in 6 months, but popcorn is cheap, and it does the job. However, I cut out everything I don't need, which was cigarettes, and then about 7 weeks ago, alcohol, which was costing $4 a bottle, and I was drinking at least a bottle a week, but just like I said, before I go to sleep, two shots just to go to sleep, to take the edge off from the coffee from during the day. So $4 a bottle and 2 bottles a week, $8 a week for alcohol. So now in 6 weeks, I saved $50 from just not drinking alcohol anymore. I saved $60 a month for not smoking cigarettes. So now I have an extra $70 a month for those 2 things to pay bills with or to buy materials for the hotel. And I don't stink up the house. Plus, they're no good for you to begin with. It's just a bad habit. It's a stinking, dirty, stinking bad habit. Now, if you're not strong enough to say I quit smoking cigarettes, well, that's your problem, not my problem. But I think about it like this. There was a guy up the block. I talked about this last week. A guy up the block came down and said, I will work for you on Monday. I will be here. No. I didn't ask him to work for me, but he needs a job. So he's going to tell me he's going to come and work for me on Monday. He's now dictating that he needs a job and he's going to be there Monday to work for me. Who ever heard of crap like that? So I said, no, don't come Monday. There's no work for you. Why? Why? Because I don't want to work with you. I didn't ask you to work. Yeah, but I need a job. Well, how is that my problem? Okay, so now, the next day I see him. Now, this guy is drunk every day and smokes cigarettes every day. The next day I see him, he walks up to me, Michael, you give me 10,000 pesos. Wait a minute. My neighbor, you give me 10,000 pesos and I will work for you and work it off. So now he has a new gimmick. He's demanding that I give him 10,000. No, he's not demanding, but he's sternly saying, you give me 10,000 pesos and I will work it off. No, I will not. Why? Well, I don't give people money. No, you're not give. You're no give. No give. I will work for that money. I will work it off. Now, how long it would take him, who knows? It's never going to be a factor that I would ever know the answer to. He's never going to work for me. Not for a minute, not for a day, not for an hour, not for even to help me load something. He'll never work for me because he's a drunk every day. But this is the new gimmick. You're my neighbor. I need work. I will work for you. And I said to him, how many packs of cigarettes do you smoke each day? Because I talked to him. Maybe 2 packs. I said, wait a minute. You smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day? Yes. That's 9,000 pesos a month. Yes. Well, stop smoking cigarettes. How complicated is this? 9,000 pesos a month, and he wants to borrow 10,000 pesos from me and work it off. That's insane. That's how they think. And he was serious. You loan me 10,000 pesos, I will work it off. Now, what are you, crazy? I got to deal with your stinking, smelly cigarette breath and your stinking alcohol. Another guy on the block stopped to give me a ride. An alcoholic. He has a car. Holy crap. I couldn't believe the stench inside his car from the alcohol breath. I made him let me off a half a kilometer before I got to where I was going. Even with both windows open, I couldn't stand the stench of the alcohol. It's disgusting. And in addition, you're not going to meet, most Filipinos are not going to deal with alcohol or cigarettes. Most, not all, but most. It's just 2 disgusting habits. And they're expensive. So this guy who wanted to borrow 10,000, he had the solution right there in front of him. Stop smoking cigarettes, and in 1 month you'll have 10,000 pesos. In one ear and out the other. In one ear and out the other. They don't get it. Filipino people, they have their cigarette habit, they have their alcohol habit. They're not going to stop. Even I told him I will not hire somebody that drinks. No, I will not drink alcohol on a job. I said, no, 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 no. You don't understand. No alcohol. Not before the job, not on the job, not after the job, not on fiesta, not on holiday, not on Saturday, not on Sunday. No alcohol. Because they can't control it. They start drinking 10 minutes after they get off the job site, and they drink until they fall down at 1 o'clock in the morning. And the next day they come to work stinking of liquor, and they give you half a day's work with a bad attitude. Ain't going to happen. I got to go. I'm going to go. I'll find something else to do with the rest of my day. All right, then, everybody, I'm going to go. I got nothing to do. For the trolls out there that are waiting for those wonderful sound bites from me, I hope you got a couple of good sound bites today. Hope you did. And I probably have some more tomorrow. You people are a trip, man. You come to my show and you listen, and I'm glad you don't say anything, because I'm probably going to block you anyway. Or you might even be blocked already. Probably, chances are you're blocked already. I hope you got those sound bites, because I got more coming. If you didn't get enough today, I got more coming tomorrow. Whatever you want to do with them, just feel free to do it. And I'm going to tell that piece of garbage, Richie, I'm going to tell him again. I see the videos you have on your channel. I didn't watch them, but I saw the titles. Believe me, Rich, I'm not going to flag your channel for copyright infringement. I don't do that. So have fun. I won't flag your channel, but I probably would clothesline you if I ever saw you in person. So I won't block your copyright copy. I could copyright your videos, but I won't do it. So just have fun. You are a real piece of work, Rich. Notice how Richie is such a coward. He will never show his face or any information about where he lives or who he is. He would be in more turmoil, so to speak, than the slob. And and by the way, what happened to the slob? The day I told those two guys in Thailand, John 555 and Brian Flowers, that you should intentionally go after the slob and have his channel shut down for all the things that he said, the egregious stuff he said about that day that I said that, where I called him 007 slob, liar, coward. That day that I made that video was the last day he did a live stream while he was walking around. That was the day he left Pattaya, went back to Bangkok, and he made one more live stream the next day and never made another live stream after I made my video. You should intentionally, shut him down. Send somebody after him to talk to him, to tell him not to say those things that day. So to the slob, I know you're not going to give me credit for shutting you down, but I was the first and only person to ever ask John 555 and Brian Flowers to shut you down. And 12 hours later, you disappeared from the live stream blogging community. So I'm sure that you like that, because you were making about $1,000 a week. So how many weeks is it now? 6 weeks, no money, no income coming in from your live streams? Tough luck, yeah? Tough way to go, yeah? That's because nobody likes you. You have all of these trolls that like you, but nobody really likes you, dude. And I don't care whether people like me or not, but when I made that 007 slob, liar, coward, John 555 and Brian Flowers go after the slob, shut him down for the things he says about the people in the Thailand blogging community. 12 hours later, this was his last live stream. He never made another one from Bangkok that I ever seen. So I don't know that I should take credit for it, but I got to tell you, I'm not sure it had anything to do with me. I'm just pretty sure that what I said was about to happen to him one way or another. And probably he was just plain and simple. Someone sent him a short and sweet message. Don't come back on live streaming for whatever reason. And he never did. Why? Because he is the 007 slob / coward / liar. He doesn't want no part of what was going to take place. Somebody said something to him, and he gave up $1,000 a week in Super Chat. He didn't do it out of the goodness of his heart. He did it out of fear. The big, tough 007 slob did it out of fear. Got shut down, did you? You didn't see that coming, did you? You think you're going to be able to badmouth all of those people in Treetown, and nobody was going to do anything about it? The toughest neighborhood in Bangkok, and nobody was going to come after you? Apparently, someone did. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure whatever they said, it's stuck. Piece of garbage. Gotta go. 007 slob / coward / liar. Hey, Scott. Scott, it's okay. I figured 6 weeks on the road. When you come back, you take a couple of days rest. So, the dentist is supposed to call again tomorrow, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll call, but if you feel up to it, send me a message early, like, 5 o'clock your time in the evening would be 5 o'clock my time in the morning. I'm probably up at that time, and then I could call you then. If not, in a couple of days. And then I'm looking forward to seeing pictures of that road trip. Scott disappeared on his hog. He outdid the Vela. The Vela disappeared for a month on his Goldwing. Scott disappeared for 6 weeks on his hog on a road trip. So I'm looking forward to seeing the pictures, and I'll get with you later, man. Take a rest. I know that you probably want to spend some time with your family since you got back, and take care of the bills and all of that. So I'll see you in a couple of days. Thanks for stopping by, Scott. Everybody else, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now. From Mr. Congeniality in the Philippines, baby. And I'm the nicest guy I know. Ask me. I'll tell you. I come with my own references. Bye-bye. Amping Permi, which means take care always. From the Philippines, baby. That's right.